Hello there sexy PlayStation gamers, and welcome to another pure PlayStation video review. This time it's for Zen Studios' Operencia the Stolen Sun. Hungarian developer Zen Studios, best known for its licensed pinball games and the brilliant Castle Storm games, you should check out the VR version, it's a cracker. This time they've taken a different approach with their latest release, Operencia the Stolen Sun, but it still kind of makes sense. The studio's experience in puzzle design and strategic gameplay fit perfectly into the dungeon crawling genre. Operencia strikes a perfect balance between being complex yet accessible, while also honouring the traditions of the genre while giving the game its own source to feel contemporary. On the story side, Operencia treads common ground with a timeless tale of good versus evil, but thanks to the sharp writing, charismatic voice acting and compelling world building, the story remains engaging through every beat. Honestly, I think Operencia the Stolen Sun may be the most authentic take on the genre in decades. Operencia's fantasy world might appear a little generic and familiar, but it manages to stand out with a sense of history and place that at once feels familiar and unique, while drawing on fantasy tropes as well as European history and mythology. Even its more mundane elements like animated skeletons or dingy dungeons are full of personality and a distinct art style that sits somewhere between cartoon and realism.
Have a look.
Ruined castles and moonlit forests are brought to life with some excellent lighting, immersive audio and a vibrant array of colours. At the core of Operencia's wonderful world are its three pillars of gameplay: exploration, puzzles and combat. Staying true to the conventions, movement unfolds across a grid, which might feel a little bit restrictive at first, especially by modern game standards, but it does give the game a methodical quality to getting through each level. It also puts the power to pursue an encounter or run away in your hands while removing the busy work from backtracking. Operencia's modular structure encourages you to have a look around and to explore and to revisit areas, and with fast travel available between bonfire save points, there are rewards for your exploration. It could be a bounty of loot, gear, gold, or even potion recipes. Operencia's puzzles are fresh and inventive with their challenges. Some will require you to remember a certain pattern of numbers, symbols, or movements. Others require the use of artifacts, like the unique items like the Stone Heart, which is a hammer that reconstructs shattered rubble, or the Griffin Feather, a magical quill that allows you to levitate objects. Wingardium Leviosa style. I'm not sorry for that. The puzzles are perfectly paced throughout the game's levels, offering worthy tests of wit without being too difficult. The lack of a waypoint did get me a little lost at times, forcing me to carefully retrace my steps in search of whatever hidden item or path I needed to find. For the most part though, the path to progression is clear and frustration is rare. The game's combat is also a steady challenge that makes you feel powerful but never complacent. Turn-based battles put you face to face with enemies who position themselves along key rows, each denoting their range from your party. Each of your party members have their own skills, some of which are best used up close and personal, and others are more effective from long range. There are dozens of skills and spells to be mastered in battle too. From physical beatdowns to magical elemental attacks, there are plenty of options when you're in battle. Operencia isn't a hard game to understand. The clear user interface and the tutorials early on do a great job of getting you accustomed to the game, and the intuitive feel of the turn-based combat quickly becomes second nature. It's simple enough to be easily understood, but there's enough depth to demand a considered approach to every encounter. Each area has a set number of enemies, and none of them respawn, so instead of spending hours grinding, Operencia's focus is in favour of combat that champions smart resource management over the raw power of your stats. This does mean that sometimes I would hit what felt like an impossible difficulty spike, but with a bit of tinkering with my party, respecking them, I would return and I would win. Zen Studios has put a lot of thought into Operencia, and I appreciate the quality of life features built into the game. There's an option to automatically assign the best gear from your inventory to each character, providing the best possible setup, mostly. A bit of tinkering yourself doesn't hurt. The addition of party actions, which are special moves that do everything from destroying enemy forces to reviving fallen friends, and crafting healing potions and other buffs, adds an extra layer to combat, expanding the tactical options and ensuring that combat never becomes stale. Operencia the Stolen Sun combines the best aspects of old school dungeon crawlers with the conveniences of modern game design, delivering a grand role-playing experience. The narrative may lack the nuance of others in the genre, sure, but Operencia's accessibility never feels at odds with its immersion. Tactical combat, streamlined, grind-free progression, inventive puzzles, and some mighty fine world building make Operencia one of the best, and further proof that this genre is far from dead. And that's it, there's our review. I really hope you enjoyed watching and listening, and if you did, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below. It helps us, and it will help us bring more stuff for you to watch and listen to. That's fantastic, isn't it? I hope so. Until next time, bye!